Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another banging episode of Talking That Nonsense with your host, me, Michael. This is our 55th installment of Talking That Nonsense. Never in my wildest dreams, people. Well, today, we're just going to basically be talking about different types of hills that people are willing to die on, and maybe a couple hard to swallow pills. These are ideas conjured up by the internet, me, and a friend group. So strap in and stay tuned. So the first hill, because I have a bunch. I have a list set up. A bunch. It's a pretty good list, and some of these topics that keep us busy for the next 34 minutes. But first one, defending pedophiles, defending pedophilia. That's icky. That's that's disgusting. So you guys remember when people were, or well, not people, but specifically the pedophiles themselves were trying to say they were a part of the LGBTQ plus community by saying, oh well, this and that and that and this. What do they call themselves? They didn't even call themselves pedophiles anymore. They called themselves like minor attracted persons or minor attracted. Basically, these guys were reaching. These guys were reaching so far back. They could break their backs. It's even disgusting to imagine that there are people, like, first of all, out there. Let's just let's just state the facts. There is a cure that's been that's always been here. People are like, we need to find a cure for pedophilia. We need to find medicine. No, we don't need medicine. There is a common cure for pedophilia that I know, and that a couple people that I know, and every pure-blooded American should know. It's bullets. Now, let me just state this right now. Pedophilia is disgusting. It is dismissible. It's not dismissible. You cannot justify that at all. Not 1 inch, not one bit at all. It's disgusting. There is no, oh well, we can't help. Well, you need to be put somewhere. You need to be put in a rubber room, not with rats, with the crease. But let me tell you, that's just not gonna keep going on, man. And it's hard to believe that people will die for that. Not literally, but people. That's a hill that people will die on. Specifically, the pedophiles themselves, which is sad that we have such dysfunctional people within our society. It's disgusting and inexcusable, and pedophiles should be put down like sick dogs. Next hill that people are willing to die on, specifically me, among other people, we are talking about returning your shopping carts. Now listen, I understand. Some of us are in a rush, some of us are just lazy. Now, this is not me coming from a person that works at a convenience store. This is just I'm all about common courtesy and just, that little inch of niceness. A couple, 60 seconds out of your day won't kill you to return a shopping cart. Okay? Really, it will not. The only excuse that the excuse only applies to, elderly people, okay? And even then, I see elderly people returning shopping carts that are, 90 years old, and grandma's walking half a mile just to go put the shopping cart back, okay? So if I see frail, thin, elderly people returning the shopping carts, then you can return the shopping carts too, okay? It's not that hard. I don't know why people need to sit there so it's so bad, in fact, that as much as I think this guy is a piece of garbage, there's a guy called what is his name? Cartnarks or something like that. Yeah, Cartnarks. There's this guy that literally records himself mucking about with people to return the shopping carts. Is it all right? He yeah, the guy's being a bit of a d-bag. Who cares? But maybe that person will remember to return a shopping cart. But people like that, see, when people are trying to get their point across, like protests about climate change, like the people in, I forget where it was, Nevada, I think it was recently, where these climate change protesters got their crap rocked because a I forget, like a ranger or like a police officer, like just rammed straight through their barricade that they set up on the ground. It should never have to get like that. You know what I mean? Well, people would have to say, "Oh well, we gotta make some noise. We gotta create a distraction. We gotta get this is the only way nowadays. People, this is how we get." You could try different manners, okay? Because let me tell you exactly what you're doing when these climate change protesters and big oil protesters and vegan protesters, like the ones that are standing in front of like slaughterhouses, like that one vegan lady that got absolutely turned into a milkshake after a semi truck turned her into a red mist. But simple as that. You stand outside a butcher hall, you're gonna get butchered. But something with the climate change protesters. Listen, you are, like I've explained before on this channel before. Not even when it came to just attention in general. When you want attention, when you lack attention, you want to get, you want attention, okay? And there's two types of attention. There's good attention and there's bad attention. Sit there and guess. I want you to guesstimate. Take an edge of the case. What type of attention do you think the climate change protesters are accumulating by acting the way they are acting? To the point where you got police officers ramming their barricades. You got people walking into museums, splashing paint over $1 million priceless paintings, destroying things and whatnot. Stopping plays and doing all this. Stopping normal society. Like, well, it works, right? It gives people. No! Let me tell you what it does. It makes people hate you, okay? It makes people hate you. It's not even about us, it's about climate. I don't think you understand. You're bringing bad light to climate change, my boy. Okay? Listen. That's like me trying to get somebody to sign a petition so I don't know, so I can just in general, that's like me trying to get somebody to sign a petition, but basically running up to people and going, sign my petition, or jumping out in front of cars and oncoming traffic or blocking up highways, and we're just chanting, sign my petition. You want people to, to take note of your cause. You want people to even recruit people for your cause. But when you're doing something like that, I am less obliged to join your cause when you're sitting there stopping a major artery of the United States just so you can make a point. And trust me, it's not that deep. You think you're making a difference? Oh, you're making a difference. You're not making a difference in everybody else's life. You're making a difference in your life. Because I guarantee you, after the little stunts you pull, you lost your friends, okay, buddy? You really lost your friends. You're like, I want to make some noise. I want some attention. That's annoying. It's stupid, and nobody likes it. I love how this, like, pondered off into climate change part. But yeah, basically, primary one was make sure you return your shopping carts. It's just like if you can, okay. If there's a legitimate reason why you can't, like maybe you're ill, elderly, or in a rush, this would be another reason why you can't return a shopping cart. Or you're disabled. This would be no other reason why at all. Next one. Oh yes, the thing that kills me is people that are in like mass public spots like libraries or schools or anything like that, offices, not even offices, but just out in public in malls. Speaker like the speakerphone on your cell phone does not equal public conversation. What I mean by that is basically there are people out there that are willing to have full blown on conversations with their loudspeaker on without a care in the world. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. You and your cell phone, that's pretty cool. I don't have to. I don't care what you say. Okay, so there is no legitimate reason why you need to be like prancing around. Okay, just having the loudest conversation on your phone. Yeah. I go down to the office. There's just no reason for it. Okay, let's be honest. The society could do do a little bit better without all that. That is not. That is literally not help you in no way, shape, or form. You do not gain any ground whatsoever by having the most loudest public conversation ever. Okay? So, this is something that we don't need to ponder on for long. Let's just keep it straight, sweet, and to the point. Speakerphone does not equal public conversation. Second one that I'm not going to sit there and ponder on. Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip are not the same. You want to know the difference? Look it up. But let me say it again. Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip are not the same. Mayonnaise has, I guess, a more nasty and saltier and ickier taste, and Miracle Whip has more of like a more tolerable, like palatable taste. I wouldn't say sweet, but it's not as bitter and icky. But if you want to know down to the molecules of how different they are, go ahead and go on Google. But I'm just going to say it one more time. Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip are not the same. First, okay. Something, I am not a grammar Nazi. I am not, the lingo dingo. I'm not the lingo, whatever, the lingo owl or whatever you want to call me, or lingo wolf. But you're you're asocial, not antisocial. Okay, you're asocial. Okay, look up asocial, and because like when you say antisocial, you sound like a joker. Okay, I'm really antisocial. I'm so antisocial. You sound like a tryhard. You're asocial. Okay, there's no and buts or ors, or there's no what if interchange. No, keep it short and sweet and simple. Keep it simple, stupid. It's asocial. Second of all, not all water is the same. Maybe this is something that does not need to be, talked about, but not all water is the same, all right? We've talked about this multiple times, but hear me out. Not all water is the same. I'll say it again. Not all water is the same. Whether you get in glass, bottles, pictures, giant jugs, 1-gallon tubs, I don't care, 10-gallon drums, not all water is the same, especially the difference between glass and plastic. But yeah, not all water is the same. Second, you should always use your turn signal. Now listen. Trust me, I get into the most intricate of conversations. People like, not using the turn signal is not indicative of being a bad. It kind of is. Listen. Oh, please excuse my lack of decorum. No, I will not. The turn signal is pretty valuable, okay? The turn signal tells people where you're going, okay? So if you're in one lane moving on to another lane, how about let me know that? Because I don't know when. Because I could be doing something else, like concentrating on the road. Next thing you know, you just go jostling into the left lane. Let's say you're getting ready to make a turn on your right, okay? We're hauling along, going 45 down the road. All of a sudden, you brake really hard, and then you just turn. Bingo bongo, you're rear-ended. Those can cause accidents. Someone in history must have just said, hey, you know what? There should be a way that we can warn people earlier about where we're going to prevent fewer accidents. Bingo bongo. How dare you even have a turn signal if you're not even going to use it? You're freaking, it's just bad. Like, I've been driving for a little while, and the amount of people that I don't see using turn signal is atrocious. And I'll admit, sometimes I don't use my turn signal. But considering I'm a person that values my life all the way into the bitter end, I want to keep it. It's not that big of a deal. Use your turn signal always, even when there's nobody looking, even when there's nobody around. Use your turn signal. Repetition creates good habits. Usually when people talk about habits, they think bad. But this is a good habit that you want to pick up on. Use your turn signal when you're turning, when you're changing lanes, when you're doing anything that requires a turn signal. Use it 100% of the time. Doesn't even have to, matter of fact, it doesn't even have to be 100%. Use it 99% of the time, okay? Because like I said, we all slip up sometimes. We all forget. Sometimes we just end up drifting into the lane. But hey, there are some people that do look around and just turn in. There are some people that don't look around at all and just turn in. There are some people that use their turn signal but don't look around and just turn in. People think that it's a big deal. All right. So basically, the moral of the story is use your turn signal. You have a lot fewer close calls. Next one. LED lights are stupid. LED lights are stupid. LED lights are stupid. There's not a point in time where I'm just driving down the road at a good decent hour of the night, and I get blinded and end up flashing the people with my brights, and it turns out that's not their brights that they had on. That's just their regular freaking bright LEDs for no reason, and then they end up flashing me with their actual brights, and I almost, swerved off the road. So LED lights are stupid. LED lights are stupid. LED lights are stupid, and LED lights are dumb. Next one. Now, this is something I don't want to get too political about, you know what I mean? But if you don't vote, you really don't get to complain. All right? Let me just make it clear. Let me elaborate on that before we have every single listen. If you don't get to vote, if you don't vote, you don't get to complain. Listen. That's like complaining about how something needs to change, but you don't do anything to change it. You don't contribute anything to change. If there's something wrong at school, think about it. If there's something wrong at school, like there's a like you don't like the dress code, or you don't like this new whatever, and basically you're like, oh, and quick people know. Instead of just sitting there and complaining, why don't you go to a school board meeting? Take it up with the school board. Talk with the school board, Just like when it comes to elections or anything like that. When you're voting for a mayor, when you want a mayor or you want a president, I want somebody that does this and this and this and this and this and this. Or when there's a current president, you're like, okay, this guy sucks. We need to get this guy out of office. I want a president that does this and this and this and this. That's why you have the ability to vote. That's why you have the power to change that. Really. So like I said, I don't want to dwell upon this too long. But the bottom line is, if you don't vote, you don't get to complain. Alright? If you don't vote, you really just don't get to complain. Especially if you're not actively contributing anything to change that problem that you're bringing the light, I hate those people that sit there and, chant and complain about this and this and this and they do nothing at all. They just sit there and complain. Do something about it. Next one. Kind of relates. Cutting friends out over stupid reasons like politics is stupid. Okay. First of all, that's stupid. Because that's happened before with me, not specifically political reasons, but just stupid reasons in general. But there's no point. In this deep, dark, and decrepit world, you need friends, alright? Believe it or not, this is no lone wolf territory. You need friends nowadays. You need somebody to cover your back, alright? You need somebody to scratch your back, and you scratch theirs. And ultimately, you will be unstoppable. But don't end a friendship over something so stupid. Because sooner or later, you're going to die. And sooner or later, your friend's going to die. And then you both are dead. And then, everybody around those guys are going to die. And, everybody will be forgotten. Everything will be forgotten. So what's the point of being mad? We're all going to die. So why waste your hard-earned life on being mad? It's kind of stupid if you ask me. But yeah, cutting out friends over stupid reasons like politics or just stupid reasons in general is stupid. Okay. People complaining about food, like pineapples on pizza. It's, may I say, 90% of the time, the people that complain, the 90% of the people that are complaining have never tried stuff like that. Oh, well, don't try pineapples on pizza because it sounds disgusting. Listen, this is a real political thing! So you cannot complain about it. Me, I eat pineapples on pizza on occasion. It's not a thing that I would normally get, like a normal cheese pizza or pepperoni. But if you're really feeling special, you can get pineapples on pizza. Just like how people get anchovies on pizza. Just like how people get X and Y on pizza. Just how people get banana peppers on pizza. It is. Those are weird toppings. I think anchovies are weird. I think bell pepper. I think yellow peppers are weird. Or banana peppers. Pardon. It is most of the people that have never tried the combination in the first place that are complaining and pooping on it. Now, if there were people that said, okay, I tried it, now I can knock it. You can't knock it till you try it, all right? Simple as that. There's really nothing else to it. You cannot knock it until you try it. End of end. It's over. Cannot knock it until you try it. Simple as that. Second one that I'm not going to touch upon. Tomatoes are fruit. Next one. Now, two other things. These ones are quite deep. So, So I was going around asking my friends about, the last two are like hard pills to swallow. Or, so these are my friends' opinions. So, and let me just read them out for him. First one, sad does not equal depressed. And I was sitting there thinking about it for a moment. I'm like, what? And he's like, what do you mean? Sad does not equal depressed. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, it doesn't. People are like, um, I'm sad. And he's like, but have you been depressed before? And I'm stepping back and I'm like, not somebody gatekeeping what sadness is or depression is. And he was like, no, but seriously. Because there's a lot of misconceptions about depression. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions, man. And I find it just quite disingenuous to the people that are legitimately depressed, you know? Sad is like you dropped your ice cream. Now you're upset. Okay, sad and upset. Uh, you know, um, um, hey, somebody, someone called me a bad name or something, and now I'm sad. Or my goldfish died, and now I'm sad, or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm listening, but because, like I said, I'm not one to gatekeep depression or sadness or anything like that. Because, like, hey, when I'm sad, okay? Or when I'm depressed. All right. Then he continued to go along and tell me the differences between sadness and depression. Sadness is like a temporary blah. Depression is a prolonged suffering. I was like, okay, I'm listening. He's like if someone in a family, like if a family member died or a best friend died in a car accident or something like that, like, then you're depressed. Then you're just like, it's just a constant, just swell of, well, sadness. So he basically told me that depression is just 20 times worse than sadness. It's just sadness on steroids, and it's prolonged. It could disappear and it could come back. It's just this feeling of dread. It's just this overwhelming feeling of dread and despair. All right? I was like, it's so severe in fact that it's been categorized. It's not sadness. It's depressing. Ah, all right. So I said, that was a new light. I said, okay. I said, I'll use it in the video. I said, thank you. Next one. Now, this one I try to preach all the time. All right? Now, listen. Now, this is something I want to tell everybody. I want to tell every man. Every man. And I mean this seriously. Getting real talk here. Getting 100. Crying does not make you any less of a man. It's due to society. Because we truly do live in a society, Batman. Sorry. But we truly do live in a society. What society is that, Michael? A messed up one. Talk to a kid. he was like, hey, that's why I don't express my other emotions that much. It's like, sure, I go to work, or I go to school, and I have a smile on my face, and I've had recent events like hair loss and things like that. And he said, sometimes that just makes me want to cry, you know? Sometimes I just want to ball up in a ball. Sometimes I feel helpless. I want to cry. But I was taught that I can't do that by my father. I'm like, your father told you not to express your emotions. His father was his father told him not to express his emotions. You don't want to. It would make you less of a man. Men are tough. Men are powerful. Men are men are incredible. For a couple 400 years, every generation there's a different coined term. My generation's coined term. It is what it is. So that kid struggled for years to express how he truly felt. And to this day, he still does. He continues to wear the mask. He continues to act like everything's okay, but it's not. He continues to act like everything's fine and dandy. He continues to fight the tears back. He continues to wipe them before they even reach his cheeks. He continues to coin the term, continues to preach the term, continues to rely on the term. It is what it is. But little does this boy know, soon enough that's going to run out. This little boy was a good kid. He's been told he was a good kid his whole life. Was told that he was expected to do great things. He's born for do great things. Make history. Leave a mark. Make people's day. He's been called funny, charismatic, understanding, empathetic. An all around stand up guy. But one year, after he finally started to slowly get away from his middle school blues, freshman year hit. But a couple months before freshman year hit, he ran into a medical issue. And before he thought nothing of it. He thought it was just nothing. So he pressed it aside. Months later, that medical issue started to show. Then he started to lose something so valuable to him. Something that he took that defined his entire character. You see, this kid struggled with image issues his entire life. At the time, he thought his teeth were too gapped. He thought his nose was too big. He thought his eyes were too brown. He thought his eyelashes were too curly. And he thought his hair was too messy. He thought his hairline was ugly. He thought his ears were too small. And he thought his voice was too annoying. This kid was full of insecurities. This kid didn't like himself. And he knew that when people said it was all right, he believed them. But deep down, he knew it wasn't all right. He knew that it was all a lie. One year, when he started his high school experience, he lost something so dear to him. He lost a piece of his identity. He lost one piece of what made him him. He lost something so precious. And that boy fell into a depression. That boy wasn't happy. That boy beat himself up every day. That boy wished the worst for himself. That boy didn't like it. That boy didn't like it one bit. That boy was picked on. And sure, on the outside, he seemed fine. He seemed dandy. Nothing fazed him. He was completely fine with the fact people would pick on him. He brushed it off like it was nothing. He absorbed it all like a sponge. He said it was fine, it was just a harmless joke. But little did everybody else know, that boy was hurting. That boy was hurt. That boy was hurt. He was hurting hurt. He was hurting real good. Nobody cared. Nobody asked. Nobody truly cared. But only then, when the boy started to act a little bit out of order, he wasn't acting himself. Only then did someone step up. But it was all gone. It was too late. At first, it started off as a big joke. Months turned into years. I had to endure 4 years of this. The boy had been through a lot. And only then, and only now, are people starting to understand how brutal people were back then. But the boy didn't care no more. The boy was fine. He didn't care no more. He was fine. One year the boy coined a term. A boy found a term. It is what it is. That boy coined a term. Almost felt like he did. He used the term so regularly, almost like he made it. He did it. That boy's been through a lot. But before the boy lost what he lost, he was antagonized and scrutinized for just his looks in general. His eyes were too brown. His teeth were too gapped. His ears were too small. His voice was annoying. And on rare occasions, his skin was too brown. And one complaint that legitimately fazed the boy was the boy was too nice. People thought the boy was putting on a charade. People thought the boy had ulterior motives. People thought the boy was faking it all. Nobody believed the boy because he put on such a good facade. Because he looked so happy on the outside. Nobody believed the boy. Because the boy was a good actor. Because the boy had to conjure up all of this. All his fear. All his hatred. Everything. All the seething and coping he did. All that was conjured up into one final play. That boy would have made a mistake that would have altered his life forever. But that boy got out of the gutter, took hold of his life, understood his worth, and kept on trucking. He didn't have to worry about what everybody else thought anymore, because he didn't care what everybody else thought. that boy, he was tough. He was strong now. He didn't care no more. No matter how hard he gets picked on, no matter how much he gets harassed, no matter how meaningless the jokes may be, it still hurt. But he didn't care no more. Because at the end of the day, there was still one term he had to fall back on. It is what it is.